account for, to explain or justify something. Example, the suspect had to account for his whereabouts at the time of the crime. Adhere to stick to or follow a rule, plan, or agreement. Example, it's important to adhere to the safety guidelines while operating heavy machinery. Allude to indirectly refer to something. Example, the politician alluded to the economic challenges facing the country in his speech. Argue out, to discuss or resolve a disagreement through argument or debate. Example, the couple needed to argue out their differences before making a decision. Bank on, to rely or depend on something happening. Example, we can't bank on the weather being good for the picnic. Let's have a backup plan. Blow up, to explode or increase suddenly in size or intensity. Example, the engineers detonated explosives to blow up the old building. Bone up on, to study or review something in order to refresh one's memory or knowledge. Example, I need to bone up on my math skills before the exam next week. Brush up on, to improve or refresh one's skills or knowledge in a particular area. Example, I'm going to brush up on my Spanish before traveling to Spain. Buckle down, to start working hard and seriously. Example, with exams approaching, it's time to buckle down and study. Bump into, to unexpectedly encounter someone or something. Example, I bumped into an old friend at the grocery store yesterday. Bundle off, to send someone or something away quickly. Example, after the meeting, she bundled off the documents to the client. Call off, to cancel an event or activity. Example, due to the bad weather, they had to call off the outdoor concert. Calm down, to become less agitated or upset, to relax. Example, take a deep breath and try to calm down before reacting. Carry out, to complete or fulfill a task or action. Example, the scientists will carry out experiments to test their hypothesis. Carry on, to continue doing something. Example, despite the setbacks, we must carry on with our plans. Catch up, to reach the same level or standard as others, to get up to date. Example, after missing a week of school due to illness, Sarah had to work hard to catch up on her assignments. Chip in, to contribute or give help, especially money. Example, everyone chipped in to buy a gift for the retiring teacher. Clam up, to suddenly become silent or refuse to speak, usually due to nervousness or secrecy. Example, whenever the topic of his past comes up, he tends to clam up and change the subject. Come about, to happen or occur. Example, the accident came about because of the slippery road conditions. Come across, to encounter or find something by chance. Example, while cleaning out the attic, I came across an old photo album. Come out, to be revealed or become known. Example, the truth about the scandal eventually came out in the newspapers. Come up with, to think of or produce an idea, plan, or solution. Example, the team needs to come up with a creative marketing strategy for the new product. Count on, to rely or depend on someone or something. Example, you can always count on Sarah to help you when you're in need. Cut down, to reduce the amount or quantity of something. Example, in order to save money, we decided to cut down on eating out. Dawn on, to suddenly realize or understand something. Example, it finally dawned on him that he had forgotten his wallet at home. Dive into, to start doing something enthusiastically and with energy. Example, after years of planning, they finally dove into their own business venture. Do away with, to eliminate or get rid of something. Example, the company decided to do away with the outdated dress code policy. Eat out, to eat a meal at a restaurant or outside of one's home. Example, let's eat out tonight and try that new Italian restaurant downtown. Embark on, to start or begin a new project, journey, or venture. Example, after graduating from college, she decided to embark on a backpacking trip across Europe. End up, to eventually arrive at or reach a particular situation or outcome. Example, despite his initial plans, he ended up becoming a successful entrepreneur. Face off, to confront someone or compete against them directly. Example, the two rival teams will face off in the championship match. Fall apart, to disintegrate or collapse either physically or emotionally. Example, after the death of their parents, the family began to fall apart. Fall out, to have a disagreement or argument, resulting in a strained relationship. Example, they fell out over a misunderstanding and haven't spoken since. Figure out, to understand or solve a problem or mystery. Example, it took me a while to figure out how to use the new software. Fill in, to complete a form, document, or crossword puzzle by providing missing information. Example, please fill in your name and address on the registration form. Find out, to discover or learn something, usually through investigation or inquiry. Example, I found out that my favorite band is coming to town next month. Follow through, to continue or complete an action or plan until it is finished. Example, it's important to follow through on your commitments and promises. Frown upon, to disapprove of or consider something to be unacceptable or undesirable. Example, smoking is frowned upon in many public places. Get across, to successfully communicate or convey an idea or message. Example, the speaker struggled to get her point across to the audience. Get along, to have a harmonious or friendly relationship with someone. Example, despite their differences, they manage to get along well. Get around, to travel from place to place, especially despite obstacles or difficulties. Example, in some cities, it's easier to get around by public transportation than by car. Get at, to imply or suggest something indirectly, to reach or attain something. Example, what are you getting at with all these questions? Get away with, to escape punishment or negative consequences for an action. Example, he cheated on the test and got away with it. Get back, to return to a place or recover something. Example, I need to get back to the office. I forgot my laptop. Get it together, to organize oneself or one's thoughts, to get control of one's emotions. Example, you need to get it together and focus if you want to succeed. Get on with, to continue or progress with something. Example, it's time to get on with our project and finish it before the deadline. Give up, to stop doing something, to surrender or quit. Example, despite facing numerous obstacles, she refused to give up on her dream. Hand out, to distribute or give something to each person in a group. Example, the teacher handed out worksheets to the students for the assignment. Hand over, to give control or possession of something to someone else. Example, the suspect was required to hand over his weapons to the police. Hang out, to spend time together in a relaxed manner. Example, let's hang out at the park this weekend. Hold back, to restrain or prevent someone or something from moving forward or progressing. Example, despite his fear, he tried not to hold back during the performance. Keep up, to maintain or continue at the same pace or level. Example, it's important to keep up with the latest developments in your field. Knuckle down, to start working seriously and with determination. Example, with exams approaching, it's time to knuckle down and study. Leave out, to omit or exclude something or someone. Example, the recipe calls for eggs, but you can leave them out if you're allergic. Let down, to disappoint or fail to meet someone's expectations. Example, I'm sorry I let you down. I'll try to do better next time. Look back, to reflect on or consider the past. Example, as she looked back on her childhood, she realized how much she had grown. Look forward to anticipate or feel excited about something that is going to happen. Example, I'm looking forward to my vacation next month. Look into, to investigate or examine something. Example, the authorities promise to look into the matter and find a solution. Look out, to be careful or vigilant, to watch out for potential danger. Example, look out. There's a car coming. Look up, to search for information in a reference source. Example, if you don't know the meaning of a word, you can look it up in the dictionary. Mix up, to stir or blend ingredients together. Example, mix up the batter until it's smooth and lump-free. Chop up, to cut ingredients into small pieces. Example, chop up the vegetables for the stir-fry. Whisk together, to beat or stir ingredients rapidly to combine them. Example, whisk together the eggs and milk for the omelette. Simmer down, to reduce heat and let a mixture cook gently. Example, allow the sauce to simmer down for a rich flavor. Stir in, to add and mix an ingredient into a mixture. Example, stir in the vanilla extract after removing the batter from heat. Boil over, to overflow or spill while boiling. Example, be careful not to let the soup boil over. Reduce the heat. Bake off, to finish baking a dish until it's fully cooked. Example, bake off the cookies until they turn golden brown. Grill up, to to cook food on a grill. Example, let's grill up some burgers for the barbecue. Season with, to add herbs, spices, or flavorings to enhance taste. Example, season the dish with salt and pepper to taste. Saute up, to cook quickly in a small amount of oil or butter. Example, saute up the mushrooms until they're golden brown. Blend in, to mix ingredients smoothly using a blender. Example, blend in the fruits for a refreshing smoothie. Slice up, to cut into thin pieces. Example, slice up the tomatoes for the salad. Pour in, to add a liquid ingredient to a mixture. Example, pour in the milk slowly while stirring the batter. Grate up, to shred or finely chop using a grater. Example, grate up some cheese for the pasta. Mash up, to crush or mix food into a soft, pulpy consistency. Example, mash up the potatoes until they are creamy. Knead in, to work dough with the hands to develop gluten. Example, knead in the flour until the bread dough becomes smooth. Sprinkle on, to distribute small particles or drops of an ingredient. Example, sprinkle on some herbs to add flavor to the dish. Sear off, to quickly cook the surface of meat at a high temperature. Example, sear off the steaks to lock in the juices. Poach eggs, to cook eggs gently in simmering water. Example, poach eggs for a healthier breakfast option. Marinate in, to soak food in a seasoned liquid to add flavor. Example, marinate the chicken in the special sauce for a few hours. Deglaze the pan, to add liquid to a hot pan to loosen flavorful bits stuck to the bottom. Example, deglaze the pan with wine after cooking meat for a tasty sauce. Drizzle over, to pour a thin stream of liquid over food. Example, drizzle over some olive oil on the salad. Dust with, to lightly sprinkle a fine layer of powdered ingredients. Example, dust with powdered sugar for a sweet touch. Baste with, to moisten food with its own juices or a sauce during cooking. Example, baste the turkey with its own drippings for a juicy flavor. Slather on, to spread a thick layer of a substance, usually a sauce or spread. Example, slather on the barbecue sauce before grilling the chicken. Break down. To stop functioning or fail, to decompose into smaller parts. Example, the car broke down on the highway, so we had to call for a tow truck. Break in. To enter a building or place forcibly or illegally. Example, someone tried to break in through the back door last night. Break out. To start suddenly or escape from something. Example, a fire broke out in the kitchen, but luckily everyone got out safely. Break off. To separate or disconnect abruptly. Example, he broke off the engagement after realizing they wanted different things in life. Break through. To penetrate or succeed despite obstacles. Example, the new technology finally broke through and became popular with consumers. Break up. To end a relationship or group, to disperse. Example, they decided to break up after years of being together. Break away. To escape or detach oneself from a situation or group. Example, she wanted to break away from her old life and start fresh in a new city. Break out of. To escape from a place or situation. Example, the prisoners attempted to break out of jail but were quickly caught. Break into. To start a new field or area of interest. Example, after years in finance, he decided to break into the tech industry. Break in on. To interrupt or intrude on someone or something. Example, please don't break in on our meeting unless it's urgent. Break away from. To escape or leave a situation, often to pursue independence or freedom. Example, the rebels managed to break away from the oppressive regime. Break out in. To suddenly develop or experience something, such as a rash or laughter. Example, she broke out in hives after eating seafood for the first time. Break up into. To separate into smaller parts or groups. Example, the teacher asked the students to break up into pairs for the activity. Break through to. To achieve success or gain acceptance in a particular field or area. Example, after years of hard work, she finally broke through to the top of her profession. Break over. To take a break or pause during an activity or event. Example, let's break over for lunch and reconvene in an hour. Break off with. To end a relationship or association abruptly. Example, he broke off with his business partner due to irreconcilable differences. Break down into. To divide or separate something into smaller components or parts. Example, the project manager broke down the task into manageable steps for the team. Break into tears. To start crying suddenly or uncontrollably. Example, when she heard the sad news, she broke into tears. Thank you.